Good morning. I'm Savannah Sellers.
I'm Joe Fryer. Right now on Morning News Now, keep it on. As COVID cases rise from coast to coast, the CDC is now extending the federal mandate for public transportation, which was set to expire on Monday. But the nation's major airlines say it's time to ditch the face coverings as well as pre-flight testings for trips abroad. Their latest appeal to the federal government. Off the streets after a nearly 30-hour manhunt, the suspect in that terrifying Brooklyn subway shooting is now in police custody. New York Governor Kathy Hochul praising law enforcement and medical first responders.
They literally save people's lives. This is a beautiful day for New York. We begin to heal. We turn the page and say no more hate in our state ever.
How officials say Frank James was finally captured, plus a preview of his first court appearance later today. Shock to the system, an apparent victory for Ukraine's military on the Black Sea, a critical Russian warship evacuated after what Ukrainian officials are calling a successful attack on it. Well, Russia's defense ministry admits the vessel has been seriously damaged. They're not giving Ukraine the credit. All of this as the White House pledges an additional $800 million in military aid to Ukraine. We've got the latest this morning. Plus, old enough? We're going to introduce you to Netflix's latest viral sensation that's proving age is just a number, but not in the way you might be thinking. It's truly an extraordinary show.
Yeah.
We'll show you more about it coming up later in the hour. We're going to begin this hour with the long-awaited guidance on the future of masks on public transportation. The CDC is extending the mask mandate for another 15 days in response to the rising number of COVID cases across the country.
Yeah, this decision comes, of course, right ahead of Easter and the start of Passover, some of the busiest days for travel in the U.S. NBC News correspondent Tom Costello is at Reagan National Airport with more on the mandate.
Yeah, good morning. You know, the mask mandate has been in effect for just over a year. The truth is most of us have been wearing them for more than 2 years. Not just airports and planes, but also buses and trains, all mass transit. The airlines have been urging the CDC for weeks now to drop the mask mandate. But the CDC says it's now got to deal with another uptick in COVID cases. It needs time to evaluate the risk.
Whether you're flying, taking the bus, or riding the rails, the federal mask mandate that had been set to expire on Monday will now remain in place through at least May 3rd, a 15-day extension as COVID cases nationwide have started to climb again, driven by the Omicron BA2 subvariant, which accounts for nearly 86% of new cases.
We really do need more time, and until we get a really good handle on it, I think it's prudent.
The CDC move came just hours after the major airlines made a new public request for the government to drop its mask mandate and pre-flight testing requirements for international flights. Writing in part, the airlines say neither restriction is currently supported by data and science in today's public health environment, and pointing to settings like bars, sports arenas, even Congress, where masks are no longer required.
We've moved, we think, from the pandemic stage to the endemic stage, and we need to learn how to live with it without being so restrictive.
Delta Airlines CEO Ed Bastian also pointing to the challenges his own crew members face.
Are you comfortable with your passengers dropping masks now?
I think our customers are comfortable dropping masks. I think our employees are tired of wearing masks. Our employees, especially on board those flights, are tired of policing masks.
You're going to jail.
Since January 2021, the FAA has received more than 7,100 reports of unruly passengers, more than 70% related to face masks. Outside the U.S., British Airways, Virgin Atlantic, and KLM are among the airlines that have made masks optional, as a growing number of destinations from Northern Europe to the Caribbean have relaxed or dropped requirements. Back in the U.S., some travelers say it's not a big deal.
We boosted and did everything the right way, so we don't mind wearing the mask.
We don't want to chance it at this point. It seems silly.
Right now, about 2.1 million people are flying every day. That's about 90% of pre-pandemic flight levels, but business travel has not returned. A lot of international travel has not returned. So the airlines are really wanting to see the mask mandate dropped, hoping that will encourage people to fly again, especially those lucrative international passengers. As you know, that's a lot of money to the airlines. Guys, back to you.
Absolutely. Tom Costello, thank you so much.
Let's bring in NBC News senior medical correspondent, Dr. John Torres, for more. Doctor, good to see you. So many cities are seeing an uptick in COVID cases right now. It's largely driven by the Omicron subvariant. So how important is extending the mask mandate on public transportation for these 15 days? Can something like that help keep the numbers down?
And, Joe, I think what's even more important is not dropping the mandate at this point yet, because it's really hard to drop something like this as we're starting to see an increase in numbers. And we know those numbers are going to increase over the next couple of weeks, hopefully not too much. But I think what they're doing is exactly right. They're saying, let's go 15 more days, see what happens with this Omicron variant as it starts spreading more across this country, and see where it goes. We think it's not going to be that big of a deal. We think it's not going to be as high as the cases from before. But at the same time, this virus has been tricky, as we know. And you and I have talked about this many times over the last few months. It's the masks. You don't want to get rid of those yet. You don't want to get rid of your own, because they're going to be coming back and forth for a while. We're not at the end of this pandemic yet. That's one thing I disagree with about one of the CEOs was saying. We're not in the endemic phase yet. We're still in the pandemic, Joe.
Here's another question a lot of folks I know are asking you, is just how worried are you about this latest wave, which is really in the Northeast now? So let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no worries, 10 being the Omicron winter wave, where do you put this? And what are the ways we can slow the spread?
You know, I think right now I'd say around 4 to 5 is my concern with this wave right now, because I do think it's going to go up, and I think it's going to go up a little bit. But at the same time, we know Omicron doesn't seem to be as deadly. People aren't getting hospitalized or or dying from it as much. There's more vaccines out there, and a lot of people have natural immunities, so that's certainly helping out as well. But I think as we see it spread across the country, if we start dropping some of these mandates too early, if we start relaxing our guard too early, it could certainly take off, and we could see those numbers we saw before. Don't want to do that, Joe, and that's the big concern, and that's why my level's up at the 4 right now, just because we don't know where this virus is going to go.
So another thing I want to ask you about, the federal government now has stopped covering the cost of COVID testing, treatment, and vaccination for uninsured people because money for the program ran out. Congress didn't renew it. What could be the impact of this for everyone when uninsured people have limited access to these COVID resources?
And, Joe, obviously the personal impact is it could affect your wallet, because you could go to these places where you get testing. In some cases, they're talking about people being charged $100 for a test. Other places you could go and you can possibly not get treatment because you can't afford it. But in a public health perspective, this could be an issue, too, because without that treatment, without that testing, and particularly without the vaccines, this could cause a problem. This could prolong the pandemic. And so it's a little concerning that this money isn't there to treat this, because, again, we're not through the pandemic yet. We're almost there. And like I tell a lot of people, using a football analogy, we're kind of at the 5-yard line. We don't want to fumble right now. We want to keep going, get that touchdown, finish this pandemic, and get to that stage, Joe.
I have one more quick question. And we've sort of always see the pattern. It seems to start in the Northeast, in New York and D.C. Do we expect then what we're going to see over the next few weeks is other parts of the country see the rise in their cases?
Exactly, and that's what I think is going to happen, because right now, like you're saying, it's on both coasts. Coast is starting to go in the south a little bit. Here where I live in Colorado, we're not quite there yet. We're still in the 70% range with the BA2, but we think that's going to increase as well, and we think cases are going to go up as well. And that's just kind of the pattern this virus takes across the country, and that has to do with our travel, our habits, and how the virus takes hold, and we think that's going to happen again, Joe.
All right, Dr. John Torres, as always, thank you so much.
Now to a major development in the Brooklyn subway attack. After a nearly 30-hour manhunt, the suspected gunman, 62-year-old Frank James, is now in police custody and facing a federal charge for attacking passengers on a mass transit system. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch is in Brooklyn following the latest. Hey, Jesse, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. Just hours from now, we expect Frank James to make his first court appearance here in a federal courtroom before a judge in Brooklyn. This after he was arrested yesterday afternoon in Manhattan, and apparently, according to sources, he called an NYPD tip line on himself, telling police where he was waiting.
After a marathon manhunt across New York City, this morning accused subway gunman Frank James is locked up.
Frank, why'd you shoot all those people?
Multiple police sources telling NBC News the 62-year-old suspect called NYPD's Crime Stoppers tip line on himself, saying he was at a McDonald's. On that call, law enforcement sources say James told the hotline, "This is Frank. You guys are looking for me. My phone is about to die." Authorities finding and arresting James in Manhattan's East Village.
We were able to shrink his world quickly. There was nowhere left for him to run.
He's now federally charged with 1 count for allegedly attacking passengers on mass transit. During Tuesday morning's rush hour, police say James put on a gas mask, opened 2 smoke canisters, and shot 10 people as this subway train pulled into a Brooklyn station. Our New York City station WNBC obtaining this exclusive video showing a man law enforcement believes is James dressed like a transit worker entering a subway station nearby nearly 2 hours before the attack.
He has the same black cart that he has later recovered on the crime scene.
Incredibly, investigators say James managed to escape onto another train along with some of his victims. But they say he also left a trail of evidence behind, including keys to this rented van seen entering New York early Tuesday, a handgun James owned, and a bag full of fireworks.
Those are definitely phantom firework items.
Based on this widely circulated picture, Bruce Zolden believes his company sold James the fireworks at a store in Wisconsin last summer, telling me they keep meticulous sales records.
Only one person bought 4 of those items, exact 4 items.
Investigators say James has a long rap sheet, including at least 12 prior arrests. Brooklyn's 36th Street subway station now open again. New Yorkers riding the trains, refusing to back down.
How does it feel to see you're not the only New Yorker down here?
I feel like New York City, after incidents like this, we kind of come together.
If convicted, James faces up to life in prison, and authorities say they continue investigating, searching through those social media accounts tied to James. They are still searching for a motive. We also reached out to authorities about the idea that James may have purchased fireworks months ago, but we have not heard back, Savannah.
All right, Jesse, thank you so much.
Out of those bruising storms that battered the South overnight, the storms brought heavy rain and blustery winds to several states. NBC News correspondent Kathy Park joins us from Nesbitt, Mississippi, where a cleanup operation is now underway. Kathy, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning to you. Yeah, the outbreak of severe storms spanned several states, including right here in Mississippi. And many people this morning are waking up without power. Other folks are waking up to this, a big cleanup ahead. We're told that at the height of the tree came crashing down directly onto this home. It actually split this home in half. Someone was inside, but fortunately, we're told he's doing okay.
This morning, the storm battered south, hit with yet another round of severe weather. A fast-moving system stretching from New Orleans to Cincinnati, placing millions under threat.
Oh, my God.
Knocking out power to more than 100,000 people. In Mississippi, extreme winds caught on camera, sending a trampoline flying. Torrential rain soaking the state, creating a nightmare for drivers. In Rice, in Arkansas, powerful winds knocking trees onto homes, killing one person. In other parts of the state, heavy rain causing flash floods. Miles away in parts of Kentucky, destructive winds reaching up to 75 miles per hour. As severe thunderstorms produce heavy flooding.
You all, that is my front yard.
And possible tornadoes.
Holy crap.
A similar scene in Tennessee. Flooding streets across Memphis.
Probably just leave the car and swim.
As residents watch funnel clouds forming. The storm system coming on the back end of an extreme weather outbreak that spawned a string of tornadoes in Texas and Iowa.
There it goes.
And Joe, we are right in the middle of the spring storm season, but winter seems to want to hang on. This morning, we woke up to temperatures in the 40s. Yesterday in the region, it was close to 80 degrees, so a big drop. Meanwhile, as far as those storms, they're now on the move again. They're headed your way, Joe. They're headed east.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Let's find out more about that. Kathy, thank you. Going to check on your morning news now weather.
Michelle Grossman is back with us. Hey, Michelle.
Good morning, and we are watching again the chance for severe weather today, but unlike Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it's going to be more isolated, low chance for tornadoes, low chance for hail, greater chance for damaging winds. So let's talk about the cold weather. Kathy said it perfectly. It's cold out there, so we have a cold side to the storm. We have a warm side to the storm. It's windy. It's chilly through the northern plains, the Midwest, even into the central plains. So we're going to see damaging wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Wind gusts today, look at Chicago, 54 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour in Sioux Falls. rainfalls along with the cold temperatures. And we do have a chilly start in the Central Plains. 8 million impacted by a freeze warning or frost advisory. Where you see the pink, that's a freeze warning, including Kansas City, Salina, Tulsa, into Woodward. And that will be the case as we go throughout today. So the pattern continues, that cold air back behind that cold front. Temperatures 30 degrees below what is typical for this time of year. Bismarck with that snow falling still. We're looking at 25. That's 30 degrees below what is typical for this time of year. And just 50 in Rockford. Now ahead of this front, the warm sector, we're so above average. 80s today in New York City, in D.C., in Raleigh, 83. It's 11 degrees above what is typical for this time of year. We hold on to that pattern tomorrow. Not quite as warm, but still really mild in Philadelphia, 71 degrees. 73 in Charleston, West Virginia. Back behind it, just 37 in Minneapolis. We're still going to have the winds, and we're looking at temperatures 21 degrees below what is typical for this time of year. As we go into the weekend, Easter Sunday, a little cooler, temperatures in the 50s in Boston. Same story in New York City, 57 in Baltimore, but 40s Buffalo, Cleveland, and also Chicago. So again, with that warm sector, we're going to have that warm air in place, and we are expecting the chance for some isolated storms from New England all the way to the Gulf Coast states. The bullseye, though, will be from Hartford to New York City, Philadelphia, and also Easton, Pennsylvania, where 28 million people are impacted. And the main threat there will be a gusty wind as these storms come through. So for today's forecast, my eye kind of goes to Texas. We're really warm there, too. Temperatures in the mid-80s in San Antonio, 78 degrees in Dallas. Really kind of picture perfect in Los Angeles, 71 degrees. And we'll see some rain showers in San Francisco. Let's talk about Friday. Never too early to talk about the weekend because we're quiet once again. That's a pattern over and over again. We're so stormy Monday through Thursday, and then we quiet it down just for the weekend. So sunny and mild through the middle of the nation with temperatures warm in the southern plains. The Northeast looking really good, too. Temperatures in the 60s with lots of sunshine. Showers lingering in Florida. That's because the cold front's going to get kind of hung up there, and it's going to bring those showers. Snow showers still in the Intermountain West, the northern plains. And then we have another storm that's going to come onshore just on time, just like it always does. On Saturday, we're looking at Pacific Northwest snow. Some cold winds in the Midwest, and a really nice day in the Mid-Atlantic. So looking good, you guys, for a lot of us on Easter Sunday.
I like the graphic that just says nice day. I like that.
Yeah, I know. Look at that.
Yeah,
nice
isn't that good?
day.
Just sum it up.
And Michelle, we absolutely welcome Weekend Talk, even starting on Wednesday here. So thank you for that look ahead.
Yeah, I'll start it Monday. I don't care.
Thanks, Michelle.
Now to the latest on the war in Ukraine, where Ukrainian officials say their forces launched a successful missile attack on the flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet. But Russia is telling a different story. NBC News foreign correspondent Molly Hunter joins us now from Bucha, Ukraine, with the latest.
Overnight, the Ukrainian military says they struck the lead warship in Russia's Black Sea Fleet after sustaining serious damage. The Ukrainians now say that warship is sinking.
This morning, Ukraine's military says Russia is building up for a major offensive in the east, mobilizing up to 70,000 troops in the region, expanding its forces and resupplying near the border. Meanwhile, there are conflicting reports about the fate of a Russian warship in the Black Sea, the Moskva, seen here in satellite images last week. Ukrainian officials say they hit the lead ship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet with a missile off the coast of Odessa, doing serious damage. But according to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the ship had been evacuated because of a fire. Now, 50 days into the war, more help is on the way. The U.S. announcing a new military aid package worth $800 million. President Biden making the pledge directly to Ukrainian President Zelensky in a phone call, later saying in a statement, the American people will continue to stand with the brave Ukrainian people in their fight for freedom, adding the Ukrainian military has used the weapons we are providing to devastating effect. The massive package includes transport helicopters, armor-piercing javelins, and for the first time, heavy artillery. President Zelensky thanked him, but his wish list is longer. All of it, Zelensky says, to avoid more atrocities like we've seen near Kyiv. In Bucha today, the work towards justice is underway. French investigators now on the scene, too. The head of the prosecutor's office here in Bucha tells us they'll be right here behind the church for a few more days, and then the real work begins.
Seeing family members, seeing people from the town coming here for answers, what do they ask you for?
Relatives are in despair, he says, but we're finding the answers, giving them the answers they so desperately want, and building the evidence in order to prosecute those responsible.
Now, as the war moves east, I just want to show you what's happening in Bucha. So not only are these people looking for loved ones, this is the city council, they're also registering the damage to their homes so they can get compensation so they can start to rebuild. I'll send it back to you.
Holly Hunter, thank you.
Let's now bring in Lester Munson. He's a senior fellow at the National Security Institute and principal in the international practice at BGR Group. Lester, thanks for being with us. So let's start with this new aid package, $800 million in military aid. It includes helicopters. It includes more Javelin missiles. And now, for the first time, heavy artillery. What does that tell you about America's commitment to Ukraine? How much of a difference do you think this makes? What do you make of what you see here on the screen?
Well, I think the Biden administration is trying to carefully calibrate what it is sending to Ukraine to meet the needs that Ukraine has on the ground as the administration sees it. So this is a reaction to what Russia is doing, which is pulling back from Kyiv and some of the other cities in the north and moving and apparently moving their forces to the east and to the south to focus their attack on the Donbass region. So the Biden administration is trying to react to that in almost real time and provide Ukraine with the resources it needs to push back against the new Russian tactics.
And what do you make of this move right now and Russia's readiness, preparedness to make that specific attack on the east after having moved out their troops? And we're hearing that the buildup does seem to be just about in place. What are you most concerned about unfolding in the next few days?
Well, I think we're going to see a different phase of the war for sure. We should all recall that Russia actually invaded Donbass 8 years ago and took positions in that region, and there has been a war there ever since. Ukraine and Russia have been at dagger points there for a long time. The reason I think that Ukraine has been so effective so far in this current iteration of the war is that they've developed experience over time, over those years of knowing Russian tactics and really developing the ability to push back against Russia. So this is going to be an intensification of this war that's already been going on. The administration is right to ratchet up U.S. pressure. I think, or U.S. assistance to Ukraine. I think they can do more. In many ways, more significant than this military assistance is the fact that the U.S. is sharing targeting data with Ukraine and helping and giving information to the Ukrainians as they're trying to find the right place to direct their fire against the Russians.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Now, I also want to ask you, running out from Ukraine, I mean, the weight, the intensity, as you just said, of this conflict has now prompted historically neutral Sweden and Finland to seriously weigh NATO membership. What would be the geopolitical consequences of a move like that, and what should we be watching for next on that front?
Well, I expect Finland and Sweden to move together on this. They are, sister nations. They've both been holdouts from NATO for decades, for generations. This is a significant development. And I think it's a ratification of the approach of NATO overall, which is this is an alliance of the willing. Everyone joins voluntarily. It is for mutual defense against aggressors. In this case, it is Russia. I think it's important to note that Finland in particular avoided joining NATO because of the direct threat from the Soviet Union during the Cold War. So what we're seeing now is that our Scandinavian friends are even more concerned about Russian aggression than they were in the immediate era after World War II.
I also want to ask you about a report from the New York Times saying that the Biden administration is considering sending a high-level official to Kyiv to, again, show support for Ukraine. And we have seen leaders from other countries like Great Britain, Poland, Baltic countries all travel to Kyiv in the middle of this war. Talk to us about the kind of message a move like that would send, and just quickly tell us, who do you think the U.S. should send?
Well, it's a great question, and I would hope, frankly, I know this is unlikely to happen, but I hope either President Biden or Vice President Harris could make this trip. It is hugely important. Frankly, it should have been done a while ago. If the security concerns are so great that they can't send someone, either the president or the vice president, a high-ranking cabinet official would be a terrific idea. I'll just say Senator John McCain, if he were alive today, would have been there a month and a half ago. I think it's not just important for people in the administration to go. It's also important for congressional leadership to show up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone from Congress there in the next few days either.
All right, Lester Munson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And coming up, we are on Royal Watch this morning.
Right, the Queen is once again stepping back from a major public appearance today, sending Prince Charles in her place. We'll bring you up to speed next. This morning, there are new questions about Queen Elizabeth's health. The Queen was a no-show at an annual Easter service at Windsor Castle to kick off the holiday celebrations. NBC's Ann Thompson joins us now from outside Windsor Castle with the latest. Ann, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. This is Holy Thursday, which is the commemoration of the Last Supper, and it's called Maundy Thursday here in England. For just the 5th time in her long reign, Queen Elizabeth did not attend the service. And today there is speculation that this is not going to be the only high-profile event she skips. This morning, Prince Charles stepping in for his mother at Maundy Thursday service at St. George's Chapel. Charles carrying on his mother's tradition of giving Maundy money. 96 men and 96 women receiving 96 pence in specially minted coins for their service to the church and community. 96 because it's the number of years the Queen has lived. Her birthday is next week. And this morning, NBC News learning from a senior royal source that the Queen is not expected to attend Sunday's Easter services at the chapel in Windsor, but she still is working.
I think she's actually come to a new work-life balance, if you like.
Last week, the Queen spoke of her own COVID illness in February.
It does leave one very tired and exhausted, doesn't it?
Meanwhile, the younger royals are front and center. Overnight, a surprise appearance from Prince William on a podcast hosted by movie star Cate Blanchett, speaking about environmental causes.
I think my grandfather and my father both kind of having a deep passion and interest in this area for many years has sort of piqued my interest.
William joined his family during the memorial service for his grandfather last month. Missing from that service, Prince Harry, who Saturday with his wife Meghan will open the Invictus Games in the Netherlands. The couple has announced no plans to visit the Queen. Though Harry and Meghan quit as working royals 2 years ago, Harry wants the British government to give the couple automatic police protection when they visit. He says Britain is not safe for them. The government says it evaluates each visit on a case-by-case basis. Now, there is no word this morning from Harry and Meghan about their security at The Hague. The Invictus Games will run from Saturday through next Friday. Joe?
All right, Ann, thank you so much.
Let's now take a look at what else is making news around the world this morning.
NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer joins us from Beijing. Janice, good morning.
Good morning. Torrential downpours, heavy winds causing a rising death toll in South Africa. More than 300 people have been killed in KwaZulu-Natal province when roads were washed away. Homes were destroyed by the heavy weather, including in the city of Durban, where a bridge collapsed. Officials are calling this one of the worst weather storms ever in the country's history. In South Korea, propaganda balloons may soon be flying again over the border to North Korea after being banned for the past few years. These are balloons that carry CDs, messages, USB sticks, little radios, sometimes cash, along with messages and information to people in North Korea from the South. Now, they had them banned as one of the concessions to Kim Jong-un in order to revive peace talks, but there's a new government in South Korea, and the unity minister says that he is reconsidering this ban. And finally, Fatu, the world's oldest gorilla, is celebrating her 65th birthday today. And she's doing it as she should with cake made of boiled rice and berries. Fatu is a western lowland gorilla. She was born in the wild, was taken to France by a sailor, and she's been living at the Berlin Zoo since she was 2. She has a daughter, grandkids, along with great-grandchildren. Western lowlands are said to be critically endangered, which makes Fatu somewhat of a legend. Happy birthday to her at the age of 65.
Wow, yeah. Looks like she's still doing great. Janice, thank you so much.
Join that cake. All right. Coming up, getting around a state's abortion ban with a little help from your employer.
Yeah, how one major U.S. company is stepping in these unprecedented times. That's next.
Yelp announced on Tuesday that it will cover the expenses for their employees or their spouses who have to travel out of state for access to an abortion.
The online search and review platform joins a growing list, actually, of major companies that will provide these services for its employees. And it comes on the heels of Oklahoma's new bill that effectively bans abortion within the state. New York Times gender reporter Alicia Huri-Dasani Gupta and New York Times business reporter Lauren Hirsch both join us now. Good morning to you guys. Thank you so much for being with us. So, Alicia, we'll start with you. And first, just expand on this for us. Walk us through exactly what it is Yelp is saying they will provide to their employees.
Thank you for having me. So Yelp is going to be paying for employees to travel out of state if they need to get an abortion. And this, they said, will be handled through their health insurance. And they mentioned that this is sort of a normal process. Health insurance do cover procedures out of state already. So this is just sort of an expansion of that health benefit to include abortion. It is also interesting that their wording was current and future. So this is going to apply not only to employees in Texas, but also in states where there are current and future potential restrictions to abortion access.
Lauren, it's not just Yelp. We know other companies like Bumble, Citigroup, and Uber have also stepped forward to support their staff. What's the message these companies are trying to send? And is there a feeling that this could become more of a trend going forward in corporate America?
It's really interesting. You know, Yelp was very forthright about their message. They spoke to us and spoke to their employees. Citi disclosed the news in a securities filing and didn't issue a press release. So I think the way that companies are messaging it is really dependent on the kind of company and the industry they're in. You know, Yelp is in an industry, you know, tech tends to be in general a little bit more liberal, can be more employee focused, hearing more employee voices. So they're being more open about that and really telling employees, you know, we value this. Citi and banking is a much more conservative industry and is not necessarily going to want to put itself into the front lines. I do think we'll see more companies forward and make statements, but I also think we'll see them fall along the same spectrum of being very cognizant of their employee base and their customer base, because they're not always, depending on who they are, they're not always going to react to this news similarly.
And now, Alicia, do we expect there to be any kind of legal response from states such as Texas and Oklahoma, where abortions have basically been made illegal and these companies are laying out these pathways?
There is always the potential for legal action in these states. And I think there is, I don't know specifically about what people are going to be doing in response to the corporate reaction. I think there was one legislator in Texas that was threatening to take action against Citigroup. But I think what legislators in these states are also doing is that they're focusing on other methods of accessing abortion, like the pill. You know, so they're cracking down on that because they also know that that's an option for women who are in those states.
And Lauren, you point out in the piece that the companies where employees earn higher wages seem to be the most vocal in opposing these legal restrictions to abortions. But one of the biggest worries is people in lower paying jobs, that they're the ones who are going to get hurt most by this. Any ideas what can be done to help people in lower paying jobs?
So that's, you know, the most important thing with this policy. Who will impact most are those in the lower paying jobs, because those are those who cannot afford to get access to abortion to travel out of state. And so going back to kind of the industries that we're in, it's, you know, companies are going to have to be very cognizant of whether or not their employees will be impacted by it, and whether or not they feel comfortable taking a stance, and how they frankly balance that against what many argue is an economic need to take a stance. But there's, you know, it's a very thorny subject.
All right. Alicia Huri-Dasani Gupta and Lauren Hirsch, thanks so much for joining us this morning and for your reporting. We appreciate it.
And
thank you for having us.
Coming up on Morning News Now, we'll bring you an in-depth discussion on the NFL's issues with race and what's being done to curb a controversial and widespread lack of diversity. Welcome back. Time for our CNBC Money Minute, the biggest financial headlines of the day and why they matter to you.
Savannah now joined us now with some breaking news. Savannah, good morning.
Hey, guys. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, so Elon Musk has made an offer to buy Twitter and take the company private. The disclosure in an SEC filing would value the social media platform at about $54 a share, or more than $43 billion. Musk revealed last week he owns more than 9% of Twitter's stock. He rejected an offer to join the board this past weekend. In a letter, Musk says this is his final and best bid and hints he could exit his investment in Twitter if no deal is reached. And we're getting a fresh take on the U.S. economy and job market this morning, with jobless claims coming up 18,000 to 185,000 last week. Several Netflix users in Russia are suing the streaming giant for pulling out of the country. Last month, Netflix suspended service in Russia and temporarily halted all future projects and acquisitions as it assessed the impact of the invasion in Ukraine. Netflix also declined to carry 20 free-to-air propaganda channels as required under state law. Netflix has roughly 1 million subscribers in Russia, guys.
All right, Savannah, thank you so much.
You got it.
For decades, pro football has dominated our Sundays, becoming what some would argue is a national pastime. But in recent years, the National Football League has been under a growing spotlight when it comes to race and its lack of diversity in its coaching ranks. The issue burst onto the scene again this winter when former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores sued the league for discrimination after he was fired. NBC News correspondent Blaine Alexander has been looking into this issue as part of her Meet the Press Report special that airs tonight. Blaine, good to have you with us for this preview. Walk us through how long this problem has been going on for the NFL and why you're specifically focusing on the lack of diversity among head coaches.
Well, Joe, good morning to you. We've spent more than a month really kind of diving into this for a number of reasons. One, of course, the Brian Flores lawsuit. That's something that really has pushed this more to the forefront, suing the NFL after he was fired from being head coach of the Miami Dolphins and suing for discrimination. 2 more coaches have since signed on. But the other reason that we're digging specifically into head coaching numbers is because the numbers are just so striking. You know, in the league's entire history, there have only been 25 black men to ever hold that position of head coach. And that's even more striking when you look at the fact that so many of the players are African American. So I spent time talking to people in the league, people around the league, former or current coaches. But one voice that I really spent a lot of time talking to is Tony Dungy. Of course, he is a Hall of Fame NFL coach. He was the first black coach to ever win the Super Bowl as head coach. And I asked him outright, does the NFL have a race problem? He told me yes. And here's what else he had to say. Take a look.
You know, I'm struck that you can love the league, but also be critical of it.
Well, I think one thing I learned from Coach Noel is that good players know their weaknesses and they work on their weaknesses.
So he said good players know their weaknesses, they work on it. That's essentially what he's thinking of the NFL right now. Joe, very quickly, the other reason I spoke to him is because he was one of 2 coaches whose firing some 20 years ago actually led to the creation of the Rooney Rule. That's something that we've heard a lot about, that says clubs have to hire or have to interview at least one black candidate. That number has since been upped to 2 in order to try and create a more diverse pool. But of course, a lot of people say that that rule isn't actually working.
Blaine, I know for this report you spoke with 2 black coaches. What else did you hear from them?
Sure. So you heard one from Dungy. The other is Leslie Frazier. He is currently the defensive coordinator from the Buffalo Bills. He tells me that this conversation around race and coaching, I was the most surprised when talking to him because he was so outright in speaking to it. He had held nothing back. He said, listen, I'm talking about it. Other coaches around the league are talking about it. Some players, it's a conversation a lot of people are having. Take a look.
I get so many calls. So many guys asking me questions, you know, what can change? How can we change it? What can we do? Leslie, how do you feel about it?
And these are people in the league who are calling you.
Other coaches in the league.
Fellow coaches, okay. So of all races or just
all races?
So a couple of things I want to mention here. We reached out to the NFL a number of times to have someone speak with us for this. They declined comment, but they also pointed to the fact that they have just launched a new diversity committee, essentially a group of a handful of people who are going to look at diversity practices around the league, advise when it comes to hiring. There's also been a new statement from owners, because ownership is another thing that's so key to this. In the league's entire history, there's never been a black owner. Those are the decision makers. Those are the ones who ultimately hire the head coaches. In that statement, they said that they are committed to diversity. When people present ownership groups, they're going to look strongly at diversity. They say that's going to be a plus. But again, the folks that I spoke to said it's still too early to determine whether those new steps are going to make any sort of meaningful impact, Joe.
So Blaine, we're looking forward to more of your reporting on this issue on Meet the Press Reports tonight. It airs at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC News Now. Tomorrow on Peacock, what else should we be on the lookout for in your conversations with people around the NFL?
You know, I think that it was very interesting just hearing from Tony Dungy, just even some of the implicit bias that he faced. Again, he's one of the best known names in football, but he says that earlier in his career, people would kind of look at him and say, well, you don't look like a coach. You don't sound like a coach. You know, I asked him, what is it behind this? He says he doesn't believe that there is outright racism, that people are saying, no, I don't want a black coach, or at least no one ever said that to him. But he said he does believe that people have in their mind what a coach looks like, what a coach sounds like, and if that doesn't meet necessarily their standards, then that's possibly why we're not seeing as much diversity, Joe.
Important conversation. Looking forward to your report tonight. Blaine Alexander, thank you so much. Coming up, the latest viral Netflix sensation that proves age is just a number, but not in the way you might be thinking.
Yeah, we're going to introduce you to a Japanese reality show giving toddlers the power to light their own ways. That's next.
We have a special announcement to make about Savannah this morning. She is a winner of a Gracie Award this year in the digital media category. Savannah has gone above and beyond in her work, not just here on Morning News Now, but also with her daily NBC News show on Snapchat called Stay Tuned. The 47th annual Gracie Awards take place in Los Angeles next month. The awards are run by the Alliance for Women in Media. It's an organization designed to support women across all media platforms and celebrate their accomplishments. She's just going to sit there and smile while we talk glowingly about her. We cannot be more proud of Savannah for all of her accomplishments. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Wow, that's a lot. All my accomplishments. Joe, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm excited. I'm honored. It was a surprise, so I'm excited to get out there. Thank you very much. That's very nice. Cool. Now to something we've been teasing. One of the latest streaming sensations on Netflix is a Japanese reality show called Old Enough.
Yeah, it follows toddlers as they run their first errands without their parents. Now, the show has been airing in Japan for more than 30 years, but Netflix recently introduced it to American audiences, sparking all kinds of debate.
The little boy in the squeaky shoes is just under 3 years old and embarking on a mile-long parent-free journey. He walks along this busy road before arriving at the grocery store where he's tasked with buying food and flowers. He then returns home, his first errand complete. The show is called Old Enough with an exclamation point, though some might argue a question mark is more appropriate. It's generating all kinds of discussion.
I mean, I raised my kids in bubbles, and I protected them, and I put up some guardrails, but I would not do this.
Japan is very different than the U.S. Neighborhoods are more pedestrian-friendly, and the culture is more trusting of kids. In Japan, parents chaperone their 10 and 11-year-olds on just 15% of trips, compared with 65% here. One episode shows a 3-year-old crossing streets on her own to deliver her dad's lunch to his job. Another shows a toddler navigating public transport. On social media, newfound fans are calling the series adorable, sweet, and the most wholesome thing I've ever seen. Some parenting experts think American audiences can learn from the show.
It's a little nerve-wracking to let your kids go, but when you do, they will just impress you.
There are people who are critical of this. They say this is irresponsible. We have crime in America. Our neighborhoods are not laid out the same way. What do you say to that?
If you're telling kids that everything they do is they're incompetent, they're in danger, watch out, they need us all the time, that might explain why kids are so anxious and depressed.
Old Enough takes many steps to keep the kids safe, with camera crews and safety teams always nearby. When darkness falls on one girl, the crew intervenes, lighting her way home.
So Netflix recently dropped 20 episodes ranging in length from 7 to 20 minutes. They're really short. Most are like just 10 to 15 minutes long. Oh. The streaming service has not released any stats about its popularity, but it has been labeled as trending this week. A lot of folks are enjoying it, talking about it, not sure what to think about it.
Yeah, I think I'm in that last category. Not sure what to think about it, but they're very cute.
and they're all safe. They've been doing it for 30 years, so obviously
right.
they know it. They seem to know what
it's
they're
only
doing.
new to us, yeah.
Exactly, exactly. All right, that does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
But the news continues right now.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.